In my last podcast, I gave you my predictions for the election, which happened on Tuesday. And I was 100% on the money. It was an abominable candidate, probably the worst candidate that I've ever seen in presidential history. His first cabinet pick.
She gets hungry for dinner at 8. She loves the theater and never comes late. She never bothers with people she hates. That's why the lady is a tramp.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Double T Podcast Network. I am your humble host, Double T, welcoming you to the voice of reason. Okay, everybody. It's not the time to gloat, but we're going to have a little bit of fun today. In my last podcast, I gave you my predictions for the election, which happened on Tuesday. And I was 100% on the money. I'm going to start off with a quote, which is a book title from the immortal, great master, Rush Limbaugh. Title of his second book. See? I told you so. We're not only talking a defeat, we are talking about a public flogging. Electoral College, 312 to 266. The Senate, 53 to 46. The Republicans picked up 4 seats. The House, with still a couple of races to be called, but no danger of them going, I believe, to the Democrats. Right now, they're at 216 to 208, and they have picked up 1. And last but not least, for our friend Hillary Clinton, Trump beat her by 4 million votes, so he is no longer an illegitimate president. It is time for the Obamas and the Clintons to disappear into whatever multimillionaires do on their estates or beach houses in their retirement. You're done. You're cooked. You got spanked. Now, for anybody that's worried about the 47th president, his legal situation, I know that must be on everybody's mind. No need to worry. Jack Smith can't get away from this fast enough. He's already put in motion getting the charges dropped, and he should actually be on a plane to Africa or someplace before Trump gets sworn in. Judge Juan Marchand in New York, which is the infamous Letitia James case, they're just dropping everything. South Carolina, Cash Money G, Fonnie Willis. That trial has been a shit show since it started, with all the improprieties with our girl Fannie. That is getting dropped. The document case is gone, and the January 6th case is not too far behind. So Trump is going to be free and clear of all the legal bullshit that the Biden DOJ tried throwing on him. Here's what I can't wait for. I can't wait for Merrick Garland to get fired or be replaced as Attorney General because he's horrible. I can't wait to see Alejandro Mayorkas be tossed to the breeze as our Director of Homeland Security because he's a travesty. And I can't wait for Christopher Wray, the Director of the FBI, to be fired. All of these people need to go. They all need to go. If we are going to restructure, rebuild, and regain credibility with the American people, you got to shake that tree. You got to grab the low-hanging fruit and then shake that tree and get whatever you can get out of it. There's a lot of corruption in Washington, and it has to be removed. I'm excited. I'm very, very, very excited that they're putting Elon Musk in charge of he's going to be a special advisor to the president on government waste. And Elon said that his goal for the first year is to cut $2 trillion. I think he said $2 trillion in waste out of the budget. And it can be done. It can be done. We don't always need to know why sockeye salmon, when they're pregnant, swim on their left side. We don't need to do studies on stuff like this, all right? All of this pork that's in our budget is there because money was given for projects so senators or congressmen can take it home to their constituents in order for a favor, for a vote on something else. So, I mean, Musk said, it's going to hurt a little bit, it's going to sting, but we can get through it. And I do believe that. So why are people so surprised that this election turned out this way? Well, first reason is Harris was an abominable candidate, probably the worst candidate that I've ever seen in presidential history, and as long as I can remember. And her vice presidential pick was even worse than she was. Harris never got a primary vote. She was installed. When Schumer and Pelosi and Obama went to Biden and stuck the knife in his back, all right, there was only 107 days left. And they coronated her and they made her a queen. She never got a primary vote for this cycle. And when she tried to run for 2020, she couldn't get off the first stage. She never got a primary vote. So here you go. You install a candidate that absolutely has no experience, all right, that absolutely can't do her job. 92% of her staff quit on her. She had to replace 92% of her staff. So Harris never got a primary vote, and she ran against a man that the mainstream media repeatedly reminded you, drilled into your head, was indicted 4 times, was a convicted felon, which, by the way, I would like to set that record straight. He was not a convicted felon. You're not a convicted felon until you're sentenced. All right? And he was twice impeached, and he was an insurrectionist. So how can you not beat that guy? You have, the cards are stacked in your favor. The problem is they ran a campaign of negativity. Everything was Orange Man bad. They did it on the late night shows with Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, and Seth Meyers. Every night it was Orange Man bad, Orange Man bad, Orange Man bad. How did this man, with all of these sins, shellac the sitting vice president in such a crushing landslide? Trump expanded his base. He expanded his base with Black voters, with Latino voters, with Asian voters, with young voters. Okay? Kamala couldn't connect with people. She couldn't answer a question. She had that nervous cackle. And when asked the question, after the cackle, it was a Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, Donald Trump this. People don't want to hear that. We got problems here in our country, and people want to know how you're going to fix them. She never gave a definitive answer on how she was going to fix anything. Okay? Here's how Trump won this election. It's very simple. Aside from the hundreds of press conferences and rallies and town halls that he did through this campaign, he never stopped. He would do 3 or 4 rallies a day, sometimes 5. All right, he's a 78-year-old guy that's got more energy. I mean, even the young people on his campaign couldn't keep up with him. Okay? And you're worried about his cognitive ability? I don't see any problem there. But he won this in the streets. Oh, what do you mean by that? Do you remember the beginning of the campaign? Trump was tied up in court every day. He had to be there because Judge Marchand said he had to be there. So what did Trump do after court every day? He went to bodegas. He went to fire stations, police stations, construction sites. He held rallies, impromptu rallies in Brooklyn, in the Bronx. He had barbershop town halls in black barbershops with the guy Lawrence from Fox and Friends Morning. I forget Lawrence's last name, but Lawrence took Trump to all these black barbershops in Brooklyn and in the Bronx, and Trump had like these mini town halls with these guys. And when you, as a candidate, sit and talk to somebody and listen to them and let them know, hey, listen, if I get in here, I got your back. I understand your pain. I understand what you're going through. I got your back. That's how Trump broadened his base. And the single greatest move. Well, wait, let me hold on one second before I get to that. McDonald's. What a brilliant move that was. Absolutely genius. Go and work the fry machine for a few minutes. Go and start handing food out the window for a little while. Having a little presser outside the drive-through window in a Philadelphia McDonald's. All right, Philadelphia state, a county that's mostly Democratic. He made those races closer. Okay, and he also helped out Dave McCormick because Dave McCormick beat the incumbent Democratic senator there. So now you have a Republican and a Democratic senator from Pennsylvania. You got Fetterman, the Democrat, whom actually has come out with some pretty interesting populist views that line up with some of the things that Trump wants to do. So I think these guys might be able to work together. The other brilliant move was the garbage truck. I mean, talk about turning chicken shit into chicken salad. I mean, coming out in the garbage truck, Trump Vance 2024, and having a little press conference out the window of the dump truck, and I mean, Trump's a showman. He knows. He understands his audience. The most brilliant thing that he did, which I just, there's nobody better at this than Trump. The best thing he did was the Joe Rogan podcast. Why? Very simple. Joe Rogan has, between YouTube and X, Joe Rogan probably has about 20 million viewers. And the demo is like 18 to 24 is his big demo. It goes a little higher. But I think 18 to 24 is his big demo. And a lot of college kids listen to Rogan. Do you know what that did for Trump? They were lined up at colleges around the buildings to go and vote. And exit polling looked really good for Donald Trump. Okay? Smart move to do Rogan. Now, Joe Rogan offered Kamala Harris the same opportunity, but the princess wanted to limit it to 1 hour, know the questions, and have Rogan come to her. And Rogan said no. Why should I? So, brilliant move on Trump's part. Now I'm going to say one more thing, and I've said this before, and I'll probably say it another 100 times before I die. Celebrities don't work. How are we doing today, Taylor Swift? Your Swifties couldn't pull an election. Okay? They had iPads at the polling stations with celebrities on them, like J-Lo, and they were talking to voters at the polling places on FaceTime. You know, having Beyonce come to your rally and actually disappointing your crowd twice because they thought she was going to sing. You know, having Beyonce and having George Clooney and having all, it doesn't mean anything. Celebrities should entertain people. Athletes should play their sports. Singers should sing. And otherwise, shut up. My favorite was watching Jimmy Kimmel, a guy who I used to love, like Howard Stern. Used to love Howard Stern until Howard Stern became woke. And then I canceled my subscription to Sirius. I don't want to listen to him anymore. He sounds like a girl now. And Jimmy Kimmel the same way. The Man Show, remember? I don't know if anybody remembers The Man Show. You know, when he dressed up in blackface and said, "Hi, I'm Karl Malone." You remember Karl Malone? When he got the little pudgy kid to ask people obscene questions when they came out of the store, or he had him the kids selling beer on a street corner. When they had girls jumping on trampolines. He was crying on national television because Kamala lost. Jimmy, please, go ask your wife if she'll take your balls out of the refrigerator and give them back to you. Colbert, the same way. Seth Meyers, at least Seth Meyers didn't cry. They're all a bunch of women now. You know, it just makes me sick that people can't stand up for what they really believe in. Listen, was I upset in 2020 when Trump got beat? Of course I was. I didn't cry. I went back to work the next day. So, folks, this election, I hope, has taught us a lesson. Trump made his first cabinet pick. Kathy Wilde, I think her name is. Or Susie Wilde. I'm sorry, Susie Wilde. First female chief of staff ever. Hey, Mark Cuban. I know you don't watch my podcast, but you're an asshole. Trump doesn't like strong, powerful women. Okay. By the way, first female chief of staff in United States history. I'm excited to see who he picks in his cabinet. I'm very excited to see the process that's going to unfold and how our country is going to move forward. I'm anxious to see how we settle Ukraine and we settle the Middle East. I have a lot of faith in Trump. So I like to say God bless you to the 47th president. I wish you the best of luck. And remember, tomorrow is granted to no one. So stop and smell the roses. They smell great. And if you have an opportunity to do a random act of kindness for someone, take that opportunity. Because if we all did a random act of kindness for someone, this world would be a much better place to live. So until we meet again, my friends, this is Double T saying ciao, ciao.